Greetings. Just a heads up, this morning's show, it was a lovely show. We did such a good job. But unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, I was unable to upload it to YouTube. I know. But I'm still gonna, hold on. I'm still gonna give you it. Listen. So I'm gonna try to touch on the topics that were covered today, all right? There won't be any guests, but you will get me, and we will make sure you get the daily dose of truth you are used to, all right? So, before we get started, let's get some housekeeping items out of the way. For those of you who do not know who I am, I go by the name Zeus, or as some like to say, Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H? Well, it's quite simple. The first H stands for honest. I'm the most honest person on social media. There's nobody more honest than me, all right? The second H is because I'm humble. There's nobody more humble than me. Listen, if I get it wrong, I will be the first to apologize. It just turns out I haven't been wrong lately, all right? And the last H, ladies and gentlemen, is because I am and will always remain the most handsome. I really am the most handsome. All right, so let's get into today's topics. And if you're a Trump supporter, I'm going to give you a heads up that this is going to be very uncomfortable for you, all right? So if you don't like the truth, now is your chance to exit stage left. But you don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country.
And you do.
If you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S.
Right.
If you're complaining all the time.
Yeah.
Very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now.
Right.
Come back if you want. Don't come back.
Please,
it's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right, so let's get into today's topic. Good morning, my fellow Americans, Democrats, Independents, and Republicans. Today I sit before you once again on this sacred throne to address the most important issue of today concerning the MAGA leader Donald J. Trump and his actions that continue to threaten the very foundation of democracy and international stability. I speak of the dangers that arise when the political leaders, such as former President Donald Trump, cozy up with foreign dictators like Kim Jong-Un, President Xi, and Vladimir Putin. This unholy alliance poses a severe threat to our values, our national security, and the welfare of people around the world. Dictators, by their virtue, disregard the fundamental principles of democracy, human rights, and freedom. They suppress dissent, muzzle the media, and trample upon the voices of their own citizens. They rule with an iron fist, perpetuating corruption and amass wealth at the expense of their people. Dictators thrive on fear, oppression, and control, leaving a trail of suffering in their wake, just like Donald Trump does with MAGA. And the dictator is what Donald Trump wants to be, and his MAGA base, demons, wickedly trying their hardest to install him over these lovely United States. It won't work. When leaders of the democratic nations align themselves with dictators, they betray the very essence of the values they claim to uphold. By cozying up to these autocrats, they endorse their behavior, providing them with legitimacy and credibility on the world stage. This compromises the moral high ground and erodes the trust placed in democratic institutions. Such alliances have dire consequences for human rights. When leaders embrace dictators, they send a message to the oppressed that their suffering is inconsequential, their pleas for freedom are ignored, and their cries for justice fall on deaf ears. By prioritizing short-term political gains and personal interests over human rights, these leaders undermine the very essence of democracy. Moreover, cozying up with foreign dictators poses a significant risk to global stability. Dictators often engage in aggressive actions, destabilizing entire regions and threatening neighboring nations. By aligning themselves with these despots, leaders ignore the potential dangers they unleash upon the international community. They jeopardize diplomatic relationships, compromise alliances, and weaken the collective power of nations working towards peace and progress. Let us not forget the impact of such alliances on our national security. Dictators often harbor ill intentions towards democratic nations and their interests by granting them undue influence and access to sensitive information. Leaders unwittingly provide ammunition to those who seek to undermine the very nations they are meant to serve. This compromises the safety of our citizens and our institutions and our democratic way of life. Ladies and gentlemen, as citizens, we have the responsibility to remain vigilant against such dangerous alliances. We must advocate for ethical foreign policies that prioritize human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. We must stand against Donald Trump, leaders like Donald Trump, who compromise our values and jeopardize our collective well-being for personal and political gain. In conclusion, the dangers of leaders cozying up with foreign dictators cannot be understated. We must remain united in our commitment to democracy, human rights, and international stability. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, join me in giving Donald J. Trump his first round of boos and shame for cozying up to these foreign dictators when he should be acting and behaving like a president of the United States. All right, he's acting like a criminal and he's cozying up to these foreign dictators. So join me in giving Donald Trump his daily dose of boos and shame. You Trump supporters really do disgust me. It's so disgusting when you start to think about what these Trump supporters are doing to this country. These folks, ladies and gentlemen, they wake up every day. They turn on their cameras, right, on this app TikTok. You can turn on your camera, your app, and then there's a lot of things you can do. You can look at it, photo, right? You can go through your feed and see what's going on. You can perhaps look at the pictures, take a picture of yourself. But these folks, they go one step further. They actually hit the button that says go live. This is what these Trump supporters do. They say, you know what? I think I'm the smartest person out here. And they actually select go live. And they get their camera and they point it at themselves. And they show the world just how deranged and ignorant they really are. And this is why we do what we do over here on this side of the of TikTok, ladies and gentlemen, because this is what America has been missing. All right. Someone that's willing to stand up to Donald Trump and his supporters and bring them the truth. And I know these folks are upset with me, but listen, they get mad at me all they want. All right. But listen, I'd rather be realer than you. All right, than to be out here believing lies and misinformation and be sitting in a prison because I decided to follow Donald J. Trump to jail. All right. And then if you don't get your soul right, follow him to hell. All right. And so along those lines, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to move on to our next topic. Our first topic is, of course, about what Donald Trump said or what he suggested about Kim Jong-Un at his recent rally. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I am talking about. He's once again cozying up to these foreign dictators, all right? The former president said that North Korean leader was getting very anxious and had called Mr. Biden a very, very bad word. Donald Trump appears to suggest that he was still in contact with Kim Jong-Un, the leader of North Korea. This is what he does, though. And he did this yesterday. I know. And he did this yesterday at his rally. So this is just an FYI that once again, while Donald Trump is under all of these criminal charges, he's still managing to cozy up to these foreign dictators. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, we must do everything we legally can to keep Donald J. Trump out of office and stop the MAGA movement. They don't like me because I tell the truth. Well, guess what? I'd rather tell the truth and be realer than you.